Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I think I'm going to have to make my new book at least one page longer because there's a lot in this story tonight of Alec Baldwin accidentally killing the actress on the set of Rust, a TV show about an accidental killing. Because if you don't know what my new book is called, it's called Illuminati Confirmed: The Jesuit Order, which is a very purposeful title. And this story just tucks right in so perfectly with what the book's about. If you think it's a joke, the Illuminati, I'm going to show you that the Illuminati has everything to do with this headline, and I can absolutely prove it. Not just some like loose, weak proof where you go, oh, I'm not sure that's proof. I'm going to definitively prove that this is an Illuminati ritual, and the Illuminati is a real thing. It was created by the Jesuit order. Look at this. This is a clear tribute to the death of Bruce and Brandon Lee. And again, Bruce Lee died while filming the movie Game of Death, where in the movie he plays a character, Billy Lowe, that's a martial artist, Hollywood actor, who's shot with a real bullet by a prop gun on the set, leading him to fake his death in the movie. And then years later, his son Brandon Lee would die when a prop gun went off on the set of The Crow. And by the way, the man who accidentally killed Brandon Lee, he died in history on October 20th, one day before this accident. Look at this. Look at this, you guys. The number that I'm teaching about the most, 201, the number of the Jesuit order, from Alec Baldwin's birthday to today's accident is 201 days after Alec Baldwin's birthday. And Bruce Lee, who died while filming Game of Death, which is a lot like what, again, the plot of Game of Death is what just happened today in the news, and also what happened with his son Brandon Lee, again, on the set of The Crow. But Bruce Lee died July 20th, the 201st day of the year in 1973. 73 is the 21st prime number. Here we are in 2021. So, first piece to understand, 201, the number of the Jesuit order, a number that connects with their entire history. Again, this is what my new book's about, how these people abuse this number and the rituals they do, and where the number ties in with the Illuminati. Before we get to that, though, Rust in Gematria equals 78 like Jesuit. Remember what they did earlier this year, 2021? On the 78-year anniversary of Nikola Tesla, on that same day, January 7th, they reported that Elon Musk had become the richest man in the world because of Tesla Motors on the 78-year anniversary. When Tesla equals 78, Jesuit 78. That date was January 7th, 7/1, kind of like 71. We're going to be talking about how much 71 connects to this ritual today on the day leaving 71 days left in the year. All these numbers are related to the Catholic Church and the Jesuit order. Bruce and Brandon Lee were Catholic, so was the Baldwin family. But again, 201 days after Alec's birthday, Bruce Lee dead while filming a movie, Game of Death, that has the same plot as what's happened today on the 201st day of the year. In Gematria, Bruce Lee equals 71. Today, October 21st, leaves 71 days left in the year. Alec Baldwin's character on the show Rust, which again is about an accidental killing, Harlan Rust equals 71. The woman who was killed today, Helena Hutchins, her name is 71. On the day leaving 71 days left in the year. If you're new here, Gematria is very simple. It's the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. Notice how Bruce Lee in Gematria is identical to Catholic in all four base ciphers. And remember, with regards to Catholic equaling 145 and 46, 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than the Protestant Old Testament, and 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. When Brandon Lee died, they released The Crow 406 days after his death. Let us not forget that Thursday equals 35 and 46, and Thursday is named after Jupiter. Rambo's always giving us the presentations on how the Catholic Church venerates Jupiter, Peter. Peter equals 71 as well. But okay, Brandon Lee died in the year 93. 93. And with regard to Alec Baldwin, his birthday is April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. Okay? 93. Not to mention he's from Amityville, New York. I mean, just think about that. Amityville, the horror series, it's Halloween. It's almost Halloween. It's October. We're 10 days away. They're going to do something real big on Halloween this year. Queen Elizabeth, who just had her big 26 ritual, she was supposed to attend what's going to happen in the UK starting on Halloween, which will be the 26 nations gathering to talk about climate change. This is all a big ritual. All this stuff, man. All this stuff is all Jesuit ritual. And I'm not saying the Queen Elizabeth's tied in with this thing tonight, but I'm just saying all this stuff they do day after day. It's just all numerical ritual. Queen 26, Queen 62. Queen Elizabeth, we hear about how she needs some bed rest. She needs some royal rest 26 weeks after her birthday on the 293rd day of the year, the 62nd prime, when her reign began on February 6th, and she was coronated on June 2nd, 2662, Queen 2662. Anyway, back to this. Game of Death, the movie that Bruce Lee died while filming, they released it in 79. And his cause of death, cerebral hemorrhage, has Gematria 79 like the word murder, like Society of Jesus, the formal title for the Jesuit order. And remember, O.J. Simpson, the murderer with the 7-9 birthday. The same numbers just get used over and over again in these types of rituals. I just talked about Rob Skiba, the guy who has the radio show after me on TFR. Supposedly died from COVID on the day leaving 79 days left in the year. You know what I mean? Pretty young guy. But Game of Death released June 8th, right? June 8th, 6/8. I don't think Alec Baldwin is really 68 years old, but notice CNN in their reporting is saying that Baldwin is 68 right now. I think he's actually 63. But CNN, I don't think it's an accident that they reported that he's 68. Game of Death, what this is a tribute to, released on June 8th. And notice that date, June 8th, 79. That was a date with numerology of 93. Brandon Lee died in 93. Alec Baldwin's born on the 93rd day of the year. Let me pull up the Gematria calculator here for a second. Remember how Forbes just rated Jeff Bezos as the richest man in the U.S. at $201 billion, and it said as of September 3rd, 9/3, and it was published by Forbes on October 5th, 10/5. Again, go look at the Jeff Bezos article from the beginning of this month. Supposedly the richest man worth $201 billion as of September 3rd, 9/3, published on 10/5 by Forbes. Again, the Bavarian Illuminati. Look at this. This show is about an accidental killing in 1880, right? 1880. Bavarian Illuminati is 188. Just forget the zero at the end. It was renamed Order of Illuminati, which is 201, and it was established by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, who ended up dying 201 days after the anniversary of the establishment of the order. So, again, we see the 201. 93 is also a very prevalent number in this ritual. And if you look up what time they're saying the killing happened at, they're saying it happened at 1:50 in the afternoon. 1:50 in the afternoon in New Mexico, where it was at. You see how Illuminati's 150, also 48? The two women who got shot, they're saying one's dead, the other's injured, are ages 48 and 42. New Mexico is 48 and 42. You see? It's also 132, like Roman Catholic and like Catholic Church. You know, there's a whole lot more to all of this. 1:50 in the afternoon military time is 1350, right? 135. Bavaria is 135. Bavarian Illuminati, Order of Illuminati, Jesuits. You see how Bavaria is 54? Forwards and backwards, look at Jesuit order. And again, the Jesuit logo is the sun, and all of these rituals are synced up with the calendar and the language, and it's all based on the cycles of the sun and astrology. Let me see. Am I tripping? Astrology, also 132, 42, 48. You know what I mean? astrological 132. How can it all be a coincidence? You know what I mean? It's because all this stuff is synced up. It's like the English language takes thousands of years of occult knowledge, and the calendar we're on. It's like they took all this knowledge and they put it into this one perfect system. It's mind-blowing how they did this. That's why you think more people would appreciate it. I think it's just because people are too dumb to get it. It's really not even that complicated. Like, you should be able to explain this to a second grader. But I don't know. Somehow, people just seem to think it's all a coincidence. If you haven't read my first book, it's this big. It's because it's got books within books. There's a chapter in here called Murder by Numbers, and it begins with the death of Bruce and Brandon Lee, and pretty much everything I'm talking about tonight. Just now we have the Alec Baldwin example to add. But I make the big point about Saturn. Saturn equals 93. Saturn's where the Grim Reaper's scythe comes from. The astrological symbol for Saturn's the scythe. And the man who killed Brandon Lee in 93, who died in history on October 20th in 2016, the day before this happens, notice how even his name, the guy who killed Brandon Lee, his name is 93, right? It's also 78, like Rust 78, Jesuit 78. See what I mean? But here's another one. With regards to CNN saying that he's 68 right now, and maybe he is, his name, Alexander Baldwin, is 6894, just like Seattle, Washington is 6894. That's where Bruce and Brandon Lee are buried. Seattle's a Jesuit city. Again, it has one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities. And The Crow came out in 94, 406 days after the killing of Brandon Lee. Again, 406 is like 46 in terms of numerology. Going right there with Bruce Lee, Catholic, sacrifice, Thursday, And let's see. Again, they're saying the women who were shot, 42. The one who died is 42. The one who was shot and injured is 48. New Mexico, 48, 42. Jesuit and Freemason are both 42. The Bavarian Illuminati, renamed Order of Illuminati, was established by a Jesuit with the purpose of infiltrating Freemasonry and controlling it more to the tune of the Jesuits. And keep in mind, modern Freemasonry was created by the Jesuit order, but that was in 1717. The Illuminati was created 59 years later, the 17th prime, the same year this nation was established, 1776, same year Kabul, Afghanistan was established, which sounds a lot like Cabal, which is another name for the Illuminati. But, just all of this is just way too perfect. And again, if you guys are doubting this, it's like, well, you missed out on the free money again because tonight Case Keenum became 28-35 in his first start with the Browns. You know what I mean? Teddy Bridgewater picked up his 28th career loss. And Case Keenum gets his first start with the Browns on Thursday, the 35-day, 35 weeks after his own birthday, and he throws for 199 yards, the 46th prime. Again, you guys keep doubting it all you want. You're just going to be missing out on the truth, the free money, all of it, man. It's too bad. It's too bad. I don't know what to do about you ignorant types. And for all of you guys who spend all this time trolling me, it seems like if you just took the knowledge and instead of wasting your time trolling here, you'd be able to make... I got to imagine that if you just applied the knowledge, you'd make more than your minimum wage trolling job. Again, I guess you can't help out these dummies who troll here. They don't even know how to manage their own time properly. But with regards to the whole Seattle thing and Jeff Bezos and Bruce and Brandon Lee being buried there and it being a Jesuit city, remember Bill Gates' full name, William Henry Gates, is 201. Jeff Bezos just rated at $201 billion. This thing just happened in New Mexico. New Mexico is known for 1947 Roswell. New Mexico's the 47th state. Seattle's on the 47th parallel. New Mexico's known for aliens. Seattle's known for the Space Needle. Bezos and Bill Gates both started their tech companies in New Mexico and moved them to Seattle. Again, there's just something going on with New Mexico and Seattle. I see it, but I don't know. There's obviously something more to it. Bruce and Brandon, both in Seattle. This incident in New Mexico. These cities always coming together, or these places. The writer for this Rush show, Joel Souza, his name is 47. It's also 34 when you run it the other way, like Murder's 34, like The Crow's 34, like Bruce Lee was born on November 27th, the day leaving 34 days left in the year. And again, the incident happened Thursday at approximately 1:50, Illuminati 150, Order of Illuminati 201. It's a Western, and look how they put it, set in the 1880s, 188, right? Remember, dollar bills, right? You think of actors, you think of dollar bills. The 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. Added up, adds up to 188. Illuminati symbolism all over the dollar bill. Letters and numbers, the code on every dollar bill from which Federal Reserve printing station it came from. The phrase prop firearm, they're saying it was a prop firearm that went off and killed the woman and injured the other. That phrase, it's got 135, like how it happened at 1350 local time. I think Baldwin really is actually 63 years old. Prop firearms also 63. I know why they're reporting he's 68, though. Again, game of death, June 8th. But prop firearms 72, just like Jesuit order. Today has 72 date numerology. And again, here's the plot of Rust where this happened. A 13-year-old boy, the Illuminati, 13? The Bavarian Illuminati was established with 13 families. But it says a 13-year-old boy left to fend for himself and his younger brother following the death of their parents in the 1880s, Kansas, goes on the run with his long-estranged grandfather after he's sentenced to hang for the accidental killing of a local rancher. An accidental killing. Here's just where it gets... it's just so repetitive, man. I mean, look at Alec Baldwin, just, by his Hollywood name, 8667, right? Brandon Bruce Lee, who was killed on the set of The Crow, 6786. 139, the 34th prime, The Crow 34, 266, like Jesus Hominum Salvator. Blood Sacrifice, 6786, right? Human Sacrifice, 6786. Brandon Lee was filming in North Carolina when he died. North Carolina, 67. Game of Death released on June 8th, a date that can be written 6-8 or 8-6. You know what I mean? How many times have we seen these patterns? Last year, Van Halen dies at age... Oh, shoot. I actually forget what age he died at. He died on the day leaving 86 days left in the year, but his older brother was 67 at the time of his death. He might have been 64. I have to go back and look. But I know they had the 67-86 ritual, dead on the day leaving 86 days left in the year, while the older brother's 67. But yeah... Just one day, this comes one day after the anniversary of the death of the man who supposedly... Well, this guy did do an interview, and he quit Hollywood the day this happened. And if you've ever seen his interview about killing Brandon Lee by accident, it seems like he's just... Find the interview of him talking about it. You can tell how uncomfortable he is, and it's like he knows that something was intentional about what happened that day. And he says he quit Hollywood. That was his last day in Hollywood. Ends up dying on the day leaving 72 days left in the year, Jesuit order 72. Now, this ritual happens on a date with 72 numerology. And one day after, again, the anniversary of his death. His character in The Crow, the guy who shot Brandon Lee, Fun Boy. Look at the Gematria Fun Boy. Just look at it. 8379, right? 8379 murder, 8379. The 25, if you read my book, the chapter on murder by numbers, I talk about how Bruce Lee, how his character, he gets shot on the set of the film in the plot of the movie in the 25th minute of the movie. Fun Boy's got the 25 in it like death. And The Crow equals 97, the 25th prime. If you haven't read my latest book, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus, I talk about the ritual with the death of the Kennedy last year in the canoe accident where then they found her body on the 97th day of the year in 25 feet of water. And Canoe has the same gematria, 38, 20, 97, 25 as death. And all of those numbers were part of the Kennedy ritual last year. But keep in mind the crow, the gematria of the crow, it's got the 97, the 25th prime. It's also got 38 and 34 like murder. Just yesterday, the Brian Laundrie body found after the 38th day of the disappearance. He disappeared on 13/9, like 139, the 34th prime. Again, murder, 34 and 38. And the day the crow released, May 11th, that day can be written 5/11, Saturn, which again is associated with death and judgment. Saturn has the gematria 93. Again, Brandon Lee in 93. Alec Baldwin born on the 93rd day of the year. Game of Death released on a 93 date numerology. Brandon Lee's killer's name equals 93 in gematria. Saturn 93, also 5/11 in Jewish gematria, like the crow released on 5/11. Saturn equals 21. Here we are in 2021. Bruce Lee died in 73, the 21st prime. Saturn 42 as well, like Jesuit. Pope Francis, born on Saturnalia, the first Jesuit pope. But again, New Mexico. And the woman dead, 42. Age 42, New Mexico, 42. So I'm not going to put everything I just showed you, I'm not going to put in the new book. The 201 part's going in there, and I'll figure out what else I want to put. But yeah, it's just, I don't want to make the book much longer than it is. But I already have the Bruce and Brandon Lee death in there. So I'm glad I didn't send it to Book Baby like a week ago. I'd be annoyed. I'd be like, man, I want the book back. I want to get this in there. And I think by the end of the month, there's going to be 10 more things I'm going to have to put in there, honestly. I'm going to let this month wrap up before I finish the book, because I know they got some more gems. I might have to do a second edition before the end of the year's over. It is 21 after all, and Jesuit's 21. But yeah, it's just, like for example, I mean, literally just yesterday I made a 30-minute video just going over 201 in a million different ways, and I made it for a bigger YouTube channel who thinks there's nothing nefarious going on with COVID, which again was simulated with Event 201 1 month before it happened on the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China, which were credited to the Jesuit order. You know what I mean? Like, just an astronomical coincidence. And I mean, the guy won't even give the work the time of the day. He just treats us like we're beneath him and not even worth his time. And it's just like, it's not just him. I mean, that's how this world is. This is how I've been treated for 8 straight years in the time I've been trying to share this information. Like, I'm crazy. And day after day, the same patterns persist. And so many people just keep treating me like, I'm insane. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? You think I'm insane and this shit just keeps happening? I mean, come on. Oh, come on, Zach. You really think, like, there was a conspiracy with Bruce and Brandon Lee? It's like, what the fuck else should you think? I mean, he does a movie about, getting shot as a Hollywood star playing a character a lot like himself, and then part of the plot is he fakes his death, and then his son ends up dying the same way, and 201 special, and now has there ever been a story like this in Hollywood? A star. I don't know any. I'm sure there's accidents that have happened a lot in Hollywood with stuntmen and stuff, but these are big stars: Bruce Lee, Alec Baldwin, and just again, slim to none odds. And by slim, I mean a fraction of a percent for this all to be a coincidence. Nearly 100% chance that this is not a coincidence. Yet people, they just don't even want to consider it. It is frustrating, Truth Seeker. It is frustrating that people will not recognize this work. On another hand, it's a good thing for all the people cashing tickets tonight, because 2 easy calls tonight for the Thursday football games. College football was an easy riddle. NFL was an easy riddle tonight. And if the whole world was caught on to it, they'd probably have to switch it up somewhat in Vegas. They couldn't keep doing the 35 thing every single Thursday night like they do. But yeah, the point of this is not to keep making money, though. I mean, money's their system anyway. It's how they control us. We all got to pay the bills as long as we're living in their system. But the real point of this knowledge is to end what's going on. And I think that's part of the problem, too, is people, they're content enough living in this world of lies and deception. It's still okay. As long as there's food in the store, the electricity's on, hot showers, air conditioning, heaters in the winter. As long as people got all this shit, everything's good enough, man. Here, let me look out at the chat real quick. Anybody got anything that I didn't cover in this? Anyone do a personal decode and catch something that I did not see? Says there's 406 people watching right now. That's weird. From the day that Brandon Lee died to the day that The Crow came out was 406 days. Good man, Solo Slim. Way to feed your kids. You guys are talking baseball. Here, look at this. If I'm not mistaken, Boston and Houston are 7-7 against each other in the playoffs all time. Here, let me see if that's true. I'm pretty sure it is. Boston Red Sox versus Houston Astros postseason record. Yep, 7-7. And you know why that's funny? Look at this. Houston, 77. Boston, 77. Red Sox, 77. So, yeah, when it was 7-6, it was looking like it was going 7-7 since that's the overlap number. That's how they do it, you guys. Keep doubting it's all rigged. We'll keep proving every day it is. We'll keep cashing tickets. You guys keep sitting on the sidelines. For 8 years, I've proven that this is no coincidence. Only dummies can't see that. Only dummies can't see that. That's a fact. Only a dummy can't see what I've proven in the last 8 years. Calling damn near everything before it happened. And keep showing you exactly how to do it and how repetitive the patterns are and what the best patterns are to look for when a team's got an overlap number, when two teams are going against each other and they have that same number and it can get hit. Game over. It's just like tonight. Not only was the 35 there for the Browns, tonight Bridgewater got his 28th loss. And again, Case Keenum became 28-35 for his career. Stafford's going to play his old team Detroit this weekend, sitting on 91 career losses. I mean, stuff's just a joke, man. They got this shit so scripted. So, anyway. Let me check back in with the chat one more time. Oh, you know what? Before I check in with the chat, about this whole 201 thing. If you've never seen Game of Death, Bruce Lee fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the film. Look how much bigger Kareem is than Bruce Lee. But if you haven't seen it, that does happen. And here's the thing. Kareem, he was just used for the COVID vaccines on September 27th in the news. That's the day the Jesuits were recognized by Roman history. And the day they did that was 201 days from Kareem's birthday. Kareem is in Game of Death, where Bruce Lee ended up dying on the 201st day of the year. Again, all this stuff's just Jesuit ritual. That's who controls these guys. Kareem changed his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Remember, he did it around the same time that Cassius Clay became Muhammad Ali. And again, it's the Jesuits behind all this. Jesuits are behind all these things. Every last one of them. These people are owned. These people are owned and operated. They got a society of people that worship celebrities, and they own these celebrities. And they use them as symbols to guide the masses. Well, if Kareem thinks the vaccine's legit, maybe I'll go get it. So, anyway. Watch Game of Death if you haven't seen it. It's just like one of those things. Like, just throw out all the gematria. You don't even need to know it, Bruce Lee does a movie that ends up being the fate of his son. I mean, come on. But then again, the gematria, you can really see just how tied in the Alec Baldwin ritual is tonight. Neo the hacker's got one in the chat. He says Brandon Lee was killed by, yeah. Okay. Neo's pointing out that the guy who killed Brandon Lee, he died in a leap year, so he died on the 294th day of the year, and today is the 294th day of the year as well, because it's not a leap year this year. Okay. Yeah. By the way, the comment in the chat about carbon. Remember, carbon equals 26, and global warming is about carbon emissions, right? This year in 2021, the year of Agenda 21, it's going to be the 26th climate conference. And now the Queen can't be there because she's not feeling well 26 weeks after her birthday. I mean, it's rituals on top of rituals. Okay. Neo's got some good observations. Kathy, I knew it. See, Kathy, I knew somewhere. It's probably, if I would have kept reading in my book, it's probably in there. I was swearing in my mind somehow April 3rd was connected to Brandon Lee's death, and that's what it is. I forgot. That was the piece. Brandon Lee's funeral was on Alec Baldwin's birthday. Look at this. That's it, right there. That was the piece I needed. I knew it. I was trying to find it real quick, and there it is. Look at that. April 3rd, on the 93rd day of 93. Isn't it something else? Alec Baldwin's birthday that day. Again, can Professor Dave explain all these coincidences? Or is he just going to be a pretentious prick like almost everybody else in this world, man? Everybody thinks they're too good for this knowledge. Everything's just a fucking coincidence, man. I knew it, though. There you go, Kathy. Back in the good graces for that one. And yeah, just what you guys are talking about baseball. I mean, how dumb are people? Hank Aaron played for the Milwaukee Braves, who moved to Atlanta. Before that, they were the Boston Braves. You got Boston in the playoffs. You got Milwaukee playing Atlanta in the opening round. It's just... And don't forget that Hank Aaron died at age 86 on January 22nd, right? 22nd day of the year. Aaron, 22 and 86. From his death to the day that Milwaukee-Atlanta series started was 263 days later. The 56th prime, Society of Jesus, 56. So. Kevin says, start predicting the future. Dude, Kevin, we've been doing that for 8 years. I mean, do it a ton of times. We have done it a ton of times. Shouldn't have to do it anymore in the information age. The word should have gotten out a long time ago. You know. People tell me to do things that I've been doing for 8 years. Hasn't been enough. Don't need to predict any more things to prove anything any further, you know. Hey, when did I just talk about Brandon Lee and Bruce Lee? Didn't I just talk about it in the last week? I know I just brought it up. I just talked about it like a week ago. And him being dead on the 201st day of the year. I just talked about this. And now you get this example just days later. You know? The work speaks for itself. It's just people are too dumb, too ignorant, too not wanting to know anything. And I wish people who are new here would stop asking me to do things that I've been doing nonstop, like I need to do it anymore, you know? Yeah, exactly. I meant to say that with regards to Illuminati, it's in my poster. I have it written down somewhere in here. There's a lot of numbers I know we went through, but again, Bruce Lee died in 73, right? And from 73 to 2021 is 48 years later, and of course New Mexico's 48, just like that Joel Souza 48. So, you know what I didn't do? I didn't look into this hospital, Christus St. Vincent's Regional Medical Center. Well, again, this is a Society of Jesus ritual. Isn't that an appropriate hospital to be taken to? And again, if you look into the hospitals in this nation, it's like literally behind almost all the hospitals is so many of the hospitals in this nation have been started by members of Skull and Bones. And again, Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from the Knights Templar, who are the old military order for the Catholic Church, and that's why the Templar cross is in the Jesuit logo. So I gotta just see. Christus St. Vincent's Regional Medical Center. Christus St. Vincent's 73, like the year Bruce Lee died. 224, like the Society of Jesus Regional Medical Center. There's something to the number 175. I have a little bit written about it in my first book with 9/11, but there's still something more to that number that I don't understand. That number shows up a lot. Or hold on, I spelled it wrong, so that's actually not what it is in this one. Christus St. Vincent's Regional Medical Center. Well, maybe it's not the full name. Maybe it's just that Christus St. Vincent's. But again, it couldn't be any more fitting in light of this being a Jesuit ritual. It's got the 116 in it, like Ad Marum de Gloriam as well. 262, like Faustian bargain. Faustian bargain, that's a deal with the devil. So, yeah, 47th state too, man. Bruce and Brandon Lee up on the 47th parallel, supposedly buried in the ground there. And if they both died, no doubt they were both murdered. I do wonder, though. Okay. I think we'll leave it there for now. Another 201. It's hard to keep track of them all. They're just piling in. They are just piling in these 201s. Okay. Here's what Kevin Crombie. Again, I just adios, buddy. You're blocked. I don't want to read any more stupid comments. Okay. Again, Kevin Crombie needs to clean the wax out of his ears. I don't need to predict anything else before it happens. Not to mention we did it again today. I mean, we're 2-0 in the football games again. You go 2-0 in your football games tonight? That's predicting the future. So, again, sign up for the Patreon, you cheap, sorry-ass bastard. You'll see correct predictions before they happen all the time. Neo, Neo, you keep posting the same thing. I responded. I said, yeah, I know. 1973 to 2021, 48 years later, I got it in the notes for the thing. I got it. I saw the comment, my man. Illuminati 48, New Mexico 48. 48 years after 73. Right here. The victims were 42 and 48, New Mexico. Bruce Lee died 48 years ago. Illuminati 48. Okay. Yeah. Watch Game of Death, and then you'll understand the mockery. That's what it is every day from these Jesuits. Treating the world like they're stupid because they know they are. They got the receipts for how we got to be this way. They're responsible for the slave school, the chemical foods, the chemical beverages, the medication, the fluoride in the water. They got the receipts to all of it. Yeah, New Mexico also got the 666 like October. That's also why I got the Alec Baldwin doing the 666 fingers thumbnail. Remember, fingers in that cipher is 666 as well. So the Patreon, You can find my Patreon page by just going to my website, GematriaEffectNews, or if you just search my name, Zachary K. Hubbard, I think it pulls it up. If you just do a search for my name, Zachary K. Hubbard. Oh, Google. Look at what Google did. Google made it so that it comes. Google made it so this rationale wiki, which is just a bullshit ass. If you go to this website, I have the biggest post out of. There's like celebrities on this website. There's the only people who are on YouTube that have a rationale wiki page are Mark Dice, Alex Jones, who's now kicked off YouTube, and myself. My write-up is bigger than theirs. But now Google put that back up at the top again. Those fuckers, man. But yeah, you see, my Patreon page comes up at the top. My book comes up there. My website comes up there. My book's for sale at other places too. But yeah, that's the easiest way to get to my Patreon page. Here, let's read the Rationale Wiki article. Well, it's huge. We're not going to read the whole fucking thing. But yeah, I mean, look at this website and just look at the write-ups on other people. That they're not nearly as big. Like, these people watch me every day. That this thing is constantly updated. It's been edited and changed, but just listen to these fuckers. Zachary K. Hubbard is an American paranoid, science-denying conspiracy theorist, blogger, YouTuber, and crank. Like, what about that is accurate? Where am I a science denier? You know. I'm not paranoid. I don't live a paranoid lifestyle at all. You know, if they were in my shoes, they'd probably be paranoid. I don't worry about all the shit that I have to deal with and all the threats and harassment, all the stuff I've gone through. I'm still not paranoid. Crank, no. Essentially, he believes that the entire world is fake or scripted, as he prefers to say. Have I ever said that? The entire world? Or is it that I say that the stuff that they give us in the media every day is scripted? That's not everything in the world. That might be to some fucking loser that lives in front of the television, like the guy or group of people who maintain this website. But that's not everything. Being run by a hidden force of evil Jesuits. Well, they're actually not hidden. You know, they're actually well known about. The NWO, the Illuminati powers that be, etc., who control elections, terrorist attacks, the weather, natural disasters, sporting events, and celebrity politician deaths by sacrificing them by the numbers on a near daily basis for no apparent reason. Well, no one said for no apparent reason. Again, this is the Society of Jesus. Their spiritual belief is that God makes sacrifices for the betterment of humanity, right? Isn't that the underlying story of Christianity? These people are sacrificing human beings, which are the children of God, which is what I think the misinterpretation of Christianity is. I don't think God sent his one child to earth. I think we're all the children of God, but the Jesuits, who clearly think they're God, are sacrificing people by the numbers. Just like the Bible is a book of numbers. What's the fourth book of the Bible called? It's called Numbers. Yes, this is actually what he believes. And again, do I believe this or do I think this and prove this based on what I observed in this world from living in it? He is so sure, and in fact, he's willing to put his entire family on the line on the bet that he's not wrong. I like these links they have. Tiger Woods' fake car crash story is a ritual for the Masters. And it was. I mean, we proved it was. We even nailed the Masters this year again. We've nailed the Masters 3 years in a row. Anybody else done that? Who else in the world nailed the Masters 3 years in a row? Show me. We did. We got the receipts. Okay. I'd have to go back and watch the video to hear what I said. But that's what I love about how detailed they are. They got everything tracked, and it must suck for them that I get censored so much because then the videos and the posts disappear. But he runs a blog site where he posts his grand proofs that usually can't even be falsified. His YouTube channels, he usually runs several at a time, fare no better. Many of his videos, and the reason that is because of all the censorship, right? Many of his videos are just rehashed material from his blog site. He also runs a Patreon where he charges $1 to $20 a month, depending on the membership level, to access more conspiracy nonsense. Pretty sure everybody who is invested in the Patreon is making a lot more money than they're putting in each month. some chapters of his book, like that conspiracy nonsense was, the Browns are winning tonight because Case Keenum's getting to 28 and 35. It's just something we do on the daily over there. So, again, you can call it conspiracy nonsense all you want, or you can pay attention to how what I'm teaching is factual and proven daily. But, Tax says, more conspiracy nonsense, some chapters of his books, and some other pointless stuff. Okay. According to who? According to this anonymous douche? Why don't these people ever try to debate me? Rationale Wiki people, why don't you try to debate me? Instead of just write this bullshit post that you keep updated all the time. Even though his Gematria is the most important work to the truth community, paraphrased countless times, in December 2020, Hubbard launched a new YouTube channel, Voice of Humanity, which quickly got 2 strikes on it, so I pretty much haven't used it. It's promoted as a Gematria free channel about other types of crankery, which Hubbard launched after finally discovering that the majority of the world's population doesn't give 2 hoots about the numbers that any clown can manufacture on a daily basis. Can they? Any clown could just manufacture numbers. That's true. But could they figure out what the numbers mean and accurately use them to call news, elections, sports championships, when Prince is going to die, calculate why celebrities die in the same patterns that they do month after month? I mean, again, this is just written by a straight-up hater and fraud. And it's probably a collection of them. It's probably the same team that harasses the community, that trolls nonstop. That, it's just... But what's hilarious is, since my book... This recently happened that this got promoted back to the top. Because what was nice is when my book came out, this thing got sank down. Google has made this the top thing that comes up for me for 3 years now. I think this was first put up in 2018. But... yeah, when the books came out, it finally sunk like way down the list. But it's just so annoying. I mean, this is what I'm up against. All the censorship. I mean, they've killed me financially. I'd be making a lot more off the work that I put out there if it wasn't for all the censorship. My book sold really well when it was on Etsy. It got banned in there in 2000. What was it? March. It was the Ides of March 2019 was the day they banned my book. And the ebooks haven't really sold anywhere else since. They average like 1 sale a day now. Back when it was on Etsy, it was selling like 20 copies a day at least, which is a lot better than 1. I mean, so I realize. I mean, that's essentially what they from here. Let's see. This is essentially how much revenue I lost. Here, let's just do the math on this. March 15th. And not to mention, I mean, they blocked everything else. Remember the month that I had my channel monetized for, and how people were generous and would do super chats and donations? That got shut down. I haven't been able to have a channel monetized for 3 years. I mean, all these ways that they just want to shut down revenue streams. But March 15, 2019, the day they blocked the book, to today, here, let's just do this. Okay. So 951 days, so do that times 100. Because before I was making about $100 a day off Etsy from ebook sales. And I have a feeling it would have never let up. It might have even gotten better because there was already 500 5-star reviews on there. And it didn't seem like it was letting up. It seemed like it was picking up until it got banned. So 951 times 100, what is that? I mean, that's like nearly $100,000. That's money that could pay for 2 full-time employees to help out with this movement. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's just one thing. I mean, that's a certain thing they took away. Think about all the censorship, like the fact that the work can't reach people. There was the time I made the most money from this work was my Bush video, the day when Bush died, because a lot of people were following me because I said Bush was going to die at 94 and he would not live past November of 2018. And sure enough, he died on November 30th. 11 plus 30, 41. Skull and Bones, 41. He was number 41. Paul Walker died on that day in history 5 years earlier, who starred in the movie about Skull and Bones, The Skulls, where he drove a red Porsche in the film and then he dies in a red Porsche. Paul Walker, George Herbert Walker Bush, George Walker Bush. Anyway, that video got 500,000 views in 24 hours, and I got paid for that. And, that was over, I forget it was like almost $5,000 just in ad revenue. I'd rather not have Google's blood money anyway. But again, the point is, if the work wasn't censored and it reached people, it could be bringing in all sorts of revenue. So I just want you guys to understand what it's like to have all this censorship and to have your stuff banned on platforms and have your video suppressed. We could be bringing in a lot of money if it wasn't for big tech destroying the message with the algorithms and making sure this isn't reaching anybody. And again, I'm not here to get rich. The reason I want revenue and funds is to hire a team of people, have the ability to travel, send a team of people. Like if I can't do it myself, send a team of 5 people to go to the location where the event's at, pound pavement, get out the word, interview people on the street, have the ability to make signs, have stuff to get people's attention. To end this shit. That's the point. And, I'd probably be achieving that if it wasn't for all this fucking censorship, man. And on top of that, they got to do things like you look up my name. Is this what I deserve, Google? Remember, Google's a Jesuit-run company. Sundar Pichai, 201. They celebrate their birthday on September 27th, the day the Jesuits were recognized by Roman history. But I mean, like, literally, is this what I deserve? So that you look me up and who's this Zachary K? Oh, here, let me read this Rationale Wiki. I don't even know who's behind this website, but man, this website seems to think he's a bad person. This website looks pretty professional here. I mean, look at these fuckers. Look at this screenshot they have of Gematria Effect Sports from when it was at 56,000 subscribers. Who do you think runs this website? I mean, that's not how many subscribers am I on this channel right now? They kept it on 74,000 for almost the whole damn year. It's up to 75,000 now. Do you know that this YouTube channel has grown by 1,000 subscribers this year? Think about that. That's impossible. In 2016, my channel grew by 1,000 subscribers a day. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm sure the Rationale Wiki people are watching right now, taking notes and probably jerking off at the same time because they're that sick of fucks. But why don't you guys debate me? Let's debate me versus the Rationale Wiki team. We'll see who the crank is. How about debunk what I just presented here, cocksuckers? I'll be waiting. Alec Baldwin from Amityville right before Halloween. Alrighty, Truth Seeker. We'll leave it there for now.